Bienvenidos and welcome to another High Ground movie review. I'm Henry, aka King of the North, joined by the lovely Tina.
Hello.
Today we are taking a look at the recently released Halloween Ends. If you haven't seen the previous two movies, take a look at the link above and you can watch our review of Halloween 2018 and Halloween Kills. If you haven't already, subscribe to our channel, hit the thumbs up, and share with your buds. Make sure you let us know in the comments below what your thoughts are on Halloween Ends. Now, let's get right into it.
Halloween Ends is directed by David Gordon Green, and the plot, taken from Google, reads, 4 years after her last encounter with masked killer Michael Myers, Laurie Strode is living with her granddaughter and trying to finish her memoir. Myers hasn't been seen since, and Laurie finally decides to liberate herself from rage and fear and embrace life. However, when a young man stands accused of murdering a boy that he was babysitting, it ignites a cascade of violence and terror that forces Laurie to confront the evil she can't control.
And this is the third movie in this franchise that is directed by David Gordon Green. So I can say that the direction has been consistent all the way through between all three films. They all look great. They all have really intricate shots and very clear palette of Michael in this Halloween franchise. It's very distinguishable from the other timelines that there have been.
That's good because there's many of them.
There's many timelines, and I want to start this conversation by commending the writers and the directors for taking such a huge risk in this epic conclusion, is how they were marketing it.
Spine-chilling climax is what they said.
And they took it in a direction that has been teased in other timelines, where the evil that resides in Michael Myers is somehow transferred into another character in this movie, which so happens to be one that were introduced in the opening scene, which I thought was a great opening scene.
The opening scene was really good because it goes back to kind of the first Halloween of this trilogy, where we have a lot of slow moments, slow pans, some eerie shots, like the shot looking up the stairway. That was really cool.
Yes.
The house itself was creepy. You know, they had a lot of rooms, lots of different angles and corners that you could turn and find things. And that's what they were trying to really hone in on in that opening scene.
They were wanting you to expect Michael to show up. And when he didn't, that was the twist, right?
Yes.
Was that it wasn't him. It was the thought that has been ravaging Haddonfield for the last year at that point, because it had only been 1 year,
right,
was that Michael is out there and that evil is causing other people to either turn on others or turn on themselves.
And be extra paranoid, be extra afraid. That's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see that community and those people feel that way, because that's how I would feel a year after, and it's Halloween Day and you're seeing all these kids running around getting their candy and shit. How are they not afraid?
Yeah.
But we see it clearly as day in the character that we're introduced right away, which happens to be basically the next Michael Myers. It's Corey.
Yeah, Corey. And to kind of give a little bit of a heads up, this is going to be a spoiler-filled review. It's been out for a while. We gave it the weekend and kind of let it process and sit with us. So these are our raw thoughts after that, letting it sit. And yeah, Corey kind of gets transferred to be the next Michael Myers, or just lets the evil take over him.
That was, I think, the theme of this movie. Is evil within you, or is evil outside?
And infecting you.
Yeah, an invader. Yeah. But both, no matter what, have a choice. You have a choice in whichever you feel evil is approaching you, or is it within you. And I think that's what these characters were exploring. I think we saw it in different characters. One, let's say Laurie, decided up front she is not letting evil inside. She's not letting it dictate her life.
Not anymore, yeah.
Not anymore, because she's experienced that already. Yes. I will say that it's a stark difference.
Yes.
We've met 3 different Lauries, in my opinion. Because, again, she is the 1978 version.
Yes.
Then she's the 2018 version, who's all out ready for Michael.
Yeah. That carries over into Halloween Kills as
It does. But I think in 2021, in Halloween Kills, she's way more concerned about others and not just herself. But in this one, she's left that life behind. She's like a grandma at home cooking, baking pies and writing a book and having internal monologues. I didn't like that version of Lori, but I know that you think it's a lot of character development. Like, it's a huge transition for her.
Which is where we differ, and I do enjoy that Lori because I feel like that's growth that has happened, which not every character in this movie has.
No, which comes to...
I feel Allison didn't have any growth in this movie.
She did not have any growth. And she's the character who is, like, battling with evil, I think, from outside, from external sources. She's getting a lot of looks, comments, fights from others, blaming her and her family for what happened. She's dealing with so much, like, trauma and hate coming from others. And we see her battle with that.
Yeah.
It's a bit awkward.
Yes, they
her story.
They try to force this relationship plotline between Allison and Corey, which, if done correctly, it could have been done very well. But the editing and the pacing,
the music, the chemistry,
it just
did
felt
not work.
Weird. It just felt off. Like, it just felt forced for the sake of them having to have the Strodes as part of this story.
It felt like episode 2 Anakin and Padme.
Oof.
Like, you don't want to see that on screen. I don't want to see this anymore.
Yeah.
But Corey is an interesting character, and I am glad that they brought this type of character in to the story. He is, again, one of those versions of how is evil penetrating you. And we learn that he has evil within. And the question from the beginning, because the opening scene shows us that what happened to Corey and the kid he was babysitting was an accident.
Yeah.
Led by fear.
Yeah, he was terrified.
But that event, like, trickles and opens up this, you know, unlocked chest
the
of
Pandora's
evilness.
box.
Yes,
yeah.
Exactly. And that's when he meets Michael.
Yes, and speaking of Michael, or the Shape, however they want to call him in this movie, it's a shell of Michael, and that's something that we talked in our previous movie review of Halloween 2018, Halloween Kills, always be plugging, was that if there was going to be a stark contrast of what they had told us and led us to believe that Michael was in Halloween Kills, that we were going to be upset.
Right.
And boy, oh boy, was I upset.
Yeah.
Because they completely took away this whole him being this otherworldly entity and gaining strength from the murders that he commits and being able to mow down half a population of a small town.
That's crazy.
And he's just a shell of a person, and they constantly reiterate throughout the movie that he is just a man. This movie that he is just a man. And so much so that I feel like this is huge disrespect to Michael Myers. Corey can fucking walk in there and bully him off his fucking mask and throw him on the ground.
Ridiculous.
And just say, you're just an old man, and goes off and goes and commits his murder. Corey was thrown off the bridge, landed right in front of there. Michael grabs him, brings him into the sewers, basically, and is ready to kill him, and stares lovingly into his eyes and realizes, oh, you're just like me, and lets him go. And that decision is what kind of drives Corey to continue to question who he is or what kind of person he is.
Yeah. Because
he even asks Allison, did Michael let you go or did you survive? And that was because he was so conflicted of, why did he let me go?
Right.
I didn't fight him off. Like, he should have killed me. He could have killed me. Is it because I'm evil? And that's what led him down the path that he ended up taking.
Of straight up evilness.
Yeah. And again, it's a brave choice. I think if this wasn't the finale, it would maybe have worked or would have stricken in a different chord with people. Because I'm all in with having a different type of Halloween movie, like different vibe to it. The Season of the Witch is kind of like the closest that I can compare it to because it really doesn't have nothing to do with Michael. Although this is a Halloween Ends movie and Michael Myers is in it, he's like a afterthought in this movie.
He's like Palpatine in The Rise of Skywalker, where he just comes in and like tries to he just tries to take the glory in a way when he's just so shriveled up and like old and trying to gain some power, like give me your power. But that's not, again, it goes back to, that's not the Michael that we know. That's not the Michael that we like to watch.
Or they built up. That's the problem to me, is that that's not the Michael they had built up. I don't feel like they had a real plan for the conclusion, or for even having more than one movie. I thought they were excited and happy to make the one Halloween 2018 and call it. But then again, they made so much money with that. Hollywood said, give me 3.
Yep, and it was not worth it.
For me personally, spending top dollar watching this on the day it releases, on the night, Thursday night.
Yeah, we were excited to watch it.
Very excited, because we had just watched 1 and 2, and it just fell flat.
We debated on leaving the theater.
Yeah, I was very upset. There were scenes where it was meant to be a little terrifying or set like the relationship, and the audience we were sitting with was laughing.
We were laughing. I was laughing.
It was a little outlandish.
Definitely. It was so strange because some of the portrayals of like plot lines were cheesy. Like if you were watching some teenage drama movie. It
was just something to try something different. For the sake of being different, I commend them for it. I just think it wasn't executed correctly, especially for something that was meant to be the climax of this trilogy. Because it's like, this is the only Halloween timeline that has a definitive Michael is dead. The story is done. There's no more. And this is the only one that has that. So that I do give it props for.
Corey died too, so there's no like continuation unless you want to analyze that moment between Michael and Laurie.
Yeah.
But let's not go there.
I think Jamie Lee Curtis is done.
She's done.
I think she's come back and played Laurie Strode enough. She's done a fantastic job every single time she's had to come back and play Laurie Strode. She does it with great respect, and she's a great actress, and we're honored to have the Scream Queen really come back to do these type of movies. So I think we shouldn't be getting a Halloween movie within this next decade. I think we should give it a break, let people forget, kind of let us enjoy. I do feel like maybe Halloween Ends might grow on a few people. I feel this whole trilogy, this timeline, this Halloween 2018 timeline is very divisive. Halloween Kills, I felt like, was very divisive, with where half the audience liked it and half of it didn't, and I feel Halloween Ends is going to be the same way, where half liked it, half didn't.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I fall in the spectrum where I didn't like it.
No.
It was just the story. The story wasn't there. It didn't feel like a satisfied ending.
The relationships weren't there either. The chemistry was just really off.
Yeah. And some characters feel like they didn't grow. Like, I feel like Laurie had her conclusion. She's grown. But I also feel like Allison didn't grow at all. Like, the only thing she did at the end of the movie was leave Haddonfield.
Yeah. I mean, could that be considered growth in itself?
Maybe. Potentially.
But still, it's not really, like, enough growth to make an impact. And she was one of those actresses that I think didn't work well in this movie either. It goes back to the chemistry between the two love interests, quote unquote.
Yes. So, in all, for my rating for Halloween Ends, I'm giving it a 3 out of 10. It would lessen the blow if you watch this movie through the streaming.
Yes.
If you're already paying for Peacock, or if you do a free trial and you really want to conclude the trilogy, I feel that it might be better, and it might lessen the blow knowing you didn't spend upwards to $20 on watching this movie.
Don't go watch it in theaters.
Yes.
Don't.
Yeah. Save your money.
But have fun with it.
Yeah.
You know, pour yourself a drink, maybe put it on the background during your Halloween party. Have some fun.
Yes, most definitely.
Thanks for listening. Let us know if you watch Halloween Ends, what you thought about it. Did you agree with us? Drop your comments below, and we can't wait to talk with you.
Yes, thanks for joining us, and thanks for talking movies.
We'll catch you next time.
Peace.